start with how these drone attacks really work and where the breakdown in communication is. And so as a result, people are being killed.
Yeah, whether you like the drone program or not, because there's a lot of folks that do like it and a lot that do not. This particular site highlighted the fact that the U.S. government relied on faulty intelligence. And that intelligence was collected through the CIA, and oftentimes they're relying on satellites to get the information on the ground rather than human footprint. I mean, that's getting people on the ground looking to see what's going on, and in these tribal areas of northern Pakistan, it's a little more difficult to get that. Now, the takeaway that you get from this from the ACLU and other human rights groups is that they see that the U.S. government is going out and operating these strikes, and they really do not know who they're killing. And as a result, we've tragically saw two hostages that were being held by al-Qaeda that lost their lives in this particular drone strike. And looking at what they can do better maybe for next time, we have Congressman here in San Diego, Duncan Hunter, who actually came out and looked at the situation, and I'm just going to read a quick quote what he said. He said, above all, this incident reaffirms the necessity to install an intra-agency coordinator, as I have proposed, in order to ensure there's effective and constructive engagement at all levels, because he was working closely with the Weinstein family to get their husband and grandfather back to the United States. So I think that when we're looking at the situation, we just need to step back, evaluate the program, and make sure that we know what we're doing. There's always going to be collateral damage, but what the result and what the consequences of this collateral damage is going to be.
And yeah, at what point do you know, when does the risk outweigh the sacrifice?
I think those are questions that we're still trying to determine, and this is why I think Congressman Hunter is being proactive, trying to bring everybody together to say, look, let's take a look at this so we can minimize that. And the ACLU and other human rights groups are saying, well, let's look at this, because the collateral damage on the ground, primarily women and minors in the region, creates a lot of anger from the Middle Eastern countries, and that's not good for our goodwill, so to speak, overseas. And I think that as we head into the election cycle here, the 2016 seems to be up and running in full force. What I suggest, readers, viewers, to actually pay attention to are organizations that are going to help elect people who are going to be a little more thoughtful when they are trying to make decisions, especially when they involve life and death. And there's a group that's started by a former Army Lieutenant Colonel who was a whistleblower for the United States Army 2 years ago, blew the whistle on a lot of things going inside Afghanistan. His name's Lieutenant Colonel Denny Davis, and he started a group called Democracy Awake, and it's to inform either people who are already in Congress or new people who are thinking of running for Congress and Senate, what they can do and how they can better confront, if you will, the lawmakers that are entrenched in the system now, so we can make it better. And we can learn from these tragic mistakes. We lost 4 Americans here this last week, and that deserves some thought and additional, thinking as to where we go from here.
Reevaluate, and like you said, with the elections coming up, we'll definitely hear more from it. Thank you so much, Kimberly. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And to